Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the FGC late night live stream. Listen, over here, we talk about federal government contracting. I try to come on and show you the easy steps on how you could get started in federal government contracting. So, listen, if you're coming across this video, if you're coming across my content, you are in the actual right place where you can find out what it will take for you to get into federal government contracting. So I show you over here the simple steps on how you can get started in federal government contracting as the middle person, and how you can make six and multiple six figures from home without doing the physical work. Yep, you heard me right. The way that I show you is that how you can get started in federal government contracting without doing the physical work. So listen, if that's something that's interesting you, if that's something that has caught your attention, please hang out with us on this live. And also, if you're watching the replay, stick through the end and I will show you the simple steps on how you can get started in federal government contracting. So if this is your first time, if you're coming across my content, please do me a favor, even if it's on the replay, drop in the chat for me, mention in the chat for me, what city and state are you watching from? What city and state are you coming across my content? So I know how broad reaching this information is. Or if I have, provided any information to you throughout this whole video or this whole live stream that you're able to let me know, hey, was this helpful or so, what steps you are in the process, that would be most appreciated. Again, I would do all that I can to come on here and drop more content to give you the tools you need to get where you're trying to go. All right. So listen, my name is Coach Jay. This is FGC Simplified. If you don't know, FGC Simplified simply stands for Federal Government Contracting Simplified. What I have done, I have simplified the process when it comes to federal government contracting. I have taken my years in the military, I've taken my years of dealing with subcontractors, and my years of actually doing the federal government contracting process and actually package it up into simple steps on how anyone can get started in federal government contracting and know how you can actually make 6 to 7 or multiple six figures in federal government contracting. And the key is without doing the physical work. That's what I show you, without doing the physical work. So listen, if that has interest you, let me see if I can impart with you some type of information that you could either do further research on, or you can actually take the steps to get started in federal government contracting. Okay. So you may not know, or you may know that when it comes to, government spending and federal government contracting, the federal government is actually the largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world. In the entire world. No one that I know of, and based on my research, has outpaced the federal government, the US federal government, when it comes to government spending on goods and services. So last year alone, the federal government spent over $6 trillion on goods and services. So when it comes to that, the federal government has also allocated a certain amount of money for government spending to go towards small businesses. So what I show you and how I teach you is how you can position your small business in a position where you can partner with the federal government and make anywhere between 6 to 7 figures a year, partnering with the federal government to provide the products and services they are looking for. So in those simple steps, I actually walk you through and show you the process. So again, all I ask for you when you're coming on in, this is the FGC late night live stream. For all my people that are coming on in, do me a favor, drop in the chat for me, what city and state are you watching from? So I know who I'm addressing and all that. Oh, again, even if you're catching the replay, drop for me your city and state inside of the chat. So again, I respond to everyone. Even if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat too as well, that I could actually impart and give you some information that's useful for you to get into federal government contracting. Okay. So now that I've pointed out that the federal government is the largest purchaser when it comes to goods and services, again, every year, as you know, the government spending bill, when it comes to the money allocated to the federal government in order to proceed on with the mission and to fulfill what they have actually in place, the federal budget, when it comes to spending and services, actually increases every year. All right, it increases every year. So the federal government is incentivized to actually spend the money that they have, because if they don't spend the money that's allocated to them, they would actually get their budget reduced next year. So they are incentivized to actually spend the money they have on these products and services. And they're also incentivized to spend the money because they actually need the service that they're actually looking for. So what I will do tonight, I will show you 3 simple steps. Again, there are 3 simple steps. What do you need to do to get started in federal government contracting? And I will also show you a bonus step also as well. All right, no problem. So let's get to cooking. So let's get to cooking so I can show you when it comes to the steps that you need to do to get started in federal government contracting. Okay. So as what everyone knows, when it comes to the federal government does not do business with individuals. Okay. They do not do business with any Joe Schmo right off the street. The very first step you need to do if you want to get into this arena and partner with the federal government, the very first step you need to do is to establish an entity. Establish an entity. So the quickest way to do that is for you to get an LLC. An LLC. You would get an LLC registered and filed in your state in order for the federal government to be able to work with you and partner with you and assign federal government contracts to you for you to actually bid on and win these contracts. Okay. So you must establish an entity. The steps that I'm giving is the path of least resistance, the easiest way that you can now find out about this information and get started right away. Okay. So the very first thing you need to do is to establish an entity. The quickest way is to start an LLC. If you already have a small business established, if you already have an LLC established in your state, you can also use what you already have. All right. There is no maturation process. There is no waiting period. You can use whatever you have right now in order to get started. All right. So let me show you here. So now we use what we call ink file. Okay. We use this ink file, and ink file is what I've used in the past, and all the people inside of my community too as well have used ink file in order to get their LLC registered and filed with their state. Now, you don't have to use ink file, but I am just sharing with you what I have used time and time again based on their speed and what they actually provide. They actually work. I use ink file. So again, I would share all these tools and tips inside of my description that's linked to this video. Okay. So again, this is who I've used, ink file. You can simply right here, when you go to ink file, you would click start my business. And once you click start my business, you would actually just select LLC, and then you would select whatever state that you reside in. Whatever state that you reside in. So you would simply come down here and actually pick your state, and then it will let you know the minimum cost for you to get started in federal government contracting. Okay. So this is the actual cost on what it will cost you if you live in the state of Florida. If you live in the state of Florida, all it will do, it will charge you is $125 to get your LLC registered and filed with your state. All right, registered and filed with your state. So let me give some clarity here. When it comes to establishing your LLC in order to do federal government contracting, it does not matter what the name of your business is. If you're starting from scratch, I would recommend that you start your LLC with a generic name. What do I mean by generic? Meaning that I should not be able to look at the name of your business and know what industry it's in, okay? And know what industry it's in. That's what I mean by being generic or being neutral. You want to select a business name that you can use in any industry, meaning you cannot look at the name. So even if you're in trucking, do not put the word trucking in the name of your business. If you're in janitorial service, do not put that in there. Just simply put management, services, whatever. Keep it broad so you will be able to do that. All right. So again, as you can see here, you would simply come to InkFile. Again, I've put the link in the description for all these process for you. You would simply come here and just drop whatever state you live in. Okay. If you live in California, you can see that in the state of California, as at the taping of this live, and even if you're watching it on a replay, in the state of California, it is $5 to get your business registered and filed in the state of California. Every state is different. Okay. So every state is different. So you would simply just drop the state that you live in, and you would see the minimum cost. Now, there are some other selections here on InkFile. You would simply just take a look at what it includes to see if that's something that benefits you. If not, again, the entry level, the basic where you need to do to get started is just the silver package right here. And again, I've included a link in my bio in the description of this video to help anyone follow these 3 simple steps to get started in federal government contracting. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 1 is to get your LLC and get it registered and filed within your state. All right, registered and filed in the state that you live in. It's key that you use that. All right, so let me see here. Oh man, so we got some people in the house. They're saying that they just started their journey. They're joining late. No problem. I got you. So I got 2 states in the chat that everybody's asking to actually see what those states are. All right. So let's see here. So in Oklahoma. So if you live in the state of Oklahoma, you would simply come here and drop in Oklahoma. LMO, Oklahoma. So in Oklahoma, it is $104 to get your LLC registered and filed with your state. Okay, in Oklahoma. So I'm seeing another one here. Let's see. We're looking at Maryland, in the state of Maryland. So in the state of Maryland, you can come here and let's see what it looks like in Maryland. In the state of Maryland, it's $197 to get your LLC registered and filed in the state of Maryland. Again, the website that I'm using is InkFile right here. And I've also included a link in the description down here. You would simply come here and drop in whatever state you live in. And there you go. That's what it will cost for you to actually get your LLC registered and filed in your state. Now, I will be totally honest with you and upfront. The price to get started in federal government contracting, because everyone wants to know what is the upfront cost and for me to get into this business, get into this industry. The upfront cost to get started is what it will cost you based on your state and city that you live in to get your LLC registered in that state. That's it, and that's all. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 1 is to get your entity registered and filed with your state. Now, if you already have a business, a small business established, if you already have an entity established, if you already have an LLC, you can use that. You don't have to go out and form a new one. You can use what you already have in order to get started in federal government contracting and make this multiple six figures from home. All right. All right. So that's step one. That's step one. When it comes to step two, again, please follow it in this order. You need to get your EIN number. You need to get your EIN number that's associated with your LLC. So you would take your LLC and you would go to what is called the federal government, okay? The actual government of the IRS. Right here. You go directly to the IRS website and you would simply apply for your EIN number. Okay? You would simply apply for that EIN number. Now, if you go directly to the IRS website, this EIN number is absolutely free. Okay? Absolutely free. It won't cost you nothing. So please make sure that you are on your IRS website, irs.gov. And again, I'll make it easy for you. I would also link this inside of the description of this video. 3 steps to get started. All right. You would apply for your EIN number right here. And you would get this EIN number within a couple of minutes. Within a couple of minutes, you will get this EIN number that you will be able to save and keep it in a safe place. So if you already have your LLC established, if you already have your EIN number, then you're ahead of the game. You already have 2 steps covered under your belt that you can use today to get started in federal government contracting. Okay. All right. So for the business address, I'm getting a question here from Simon. For the business address, can a UPS store address work? So I'm letting you know right now, for the steps of actual getting into federal government contracting, to actually go through the process, you need to use a actual physical address. Okay. They do not like virtual addresses. They do not like PO boxes. You cannot use PO boxes. So I would advise you just simply use a physical address. If you already have a small business established and there is a brick and mortar building that you have a physical address that you can use that. But if you don't, you're doing this from home, use your home address to get started and to go through the process. All right. So anybody watching the replay, that is my recommendation to go through the ease of process. Use a physical address. All right. All right. So that is step 2. So step 1, we get an LLC registered and filed in our state. Step 2, we get an EIN number that's associated with that LLC. All right. And step 3, the third step in this 3-step process, this simple 3-step process is 3, get that LLC registered in SAM.gov. You get it registered in SAM.gov. So step 3, you will go to the official website of the U.S. government. As we can see right here, it's the official website of the U.S. government, and it's 100% free. 100% free. You would simply come here and take that LLC that you establish. You would take that EIN number that's associated with that LLC, and then you would register it inside of SAM.gov. You would register it inside of SAM.gov. Right here, you would click Get Started, and you would input that information to register your business in SAM.gov in order for them to be able to award you a federal government contract. So it's that simple steps. Okay. So step 1, you have your LLC. You get your LLC registered in your state. Step 2, you would get your EIN number that's associated with that LLC. And then step 3, you will take that business with that EIN and register it in SAM.gov. And now that you're registered, you are able to win federal government contracting. Okay. The federal government is now able to award your business a federal government contract. All right, let me see. I think I got another question here. Oh man, yes, sir. So let's see. Does SAM.gov require physical address and certification of occupancy?